So, how do you become a better dungeon master? Well, kind of the way you become better at literally anything by doing the thing a lot and doing research on what other people have done. So, today I'm going to show you the 5 books that have absolutely made me a better dungeon master or game master. And be sure to stay to the end because a couple of the last ones might surprise you, and I'm also going to throw in some bonus ones you might already own. Number 1, So You Want to Be a Game Master from Justin Alexander. In my opinion, this is the Bible of mechanically running any type of adventure in any type of TTRPG. Like, this book has so many guidelines on how to run 5-room dungeons, mega dungeons, mystery adventures, hex crawls, heists, raids, and so much more. And if you couldn't tell by the thickness of this thing, it is quite the Bible of a book to get through. The point of this book is to go to 4 specific things, not necessarily to read the thing front to back. It's amazing if you felt your adventures in your games have grown kind of stale. You could try to do a heist if you've never done one before. You can try a small hex crawl if you've never done one before, and it teaches you how to prep everything you need for that. The only thing is it's very mechanically driven, which isn't bad. I think a lot of new players need help with that, but also teaches you how to pivot if something doesn't go the way you kind of planned it to be. And he's really good about making actionable advice for everything he teaches in here. So whenever you read a chapter, there is an action you can go do to replicate what he's talking about. Number 2, Sly Flourish's Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. This is my favorite dungeon master, game master book ever. If you get one book out of all the books I ever suggest to you, get this one. This book teaches you everything you need to know about prepping as little as possible for the most optimal game session. It's sourced around this really great 8-point checklist, which is 1, reviewing your players, making sure they always come first, creating a strong start, outlining potential scenes, defining your secrets and clues, coming up with fantastical locations, outlining important NPCs, choosing relevant bad guys, and choosing rewards for your players. The book dives deeper into each of those steps, how they connect together, and how they're the most important to prep for your games. It talks about the philosophy of by prepping the least amount of possible that makes your games the most fun and the most flexible. And making your games more flexible is what I see a lot of newer GMs struggle with, or what prevents a lot of players from trying to GM games in the first place. This book has not only helped me with my game prep, but because of how it helped me with my prep, it allows me to run more games than I would have before. And we've established by doing the thing more times, you get better at it. But the next book complements this one in a way that's going to blow your mind. One Shot Wonders from Roll and Play Press. Now, this book is exactly what it says it is. It's over 100 one-shots in a book, and that's always really nice to have to run a game last minute or just to find inspiration for your own one-shots. But each of these one-shots are only on 1 or 2 pages, and these pages are basically covered in boxes with text. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this book now is because each of the boxes with text basically covers one of the checklist items on the Sly Flourish's Return of the Lazy Game Master checklist. That was hard to say. If you go to Roll and Play Press's website, they actually have 3, I think, of these adventures that you can download the PDF of completely for free so you can see what I'm talking about. If you go down the Lazy Dungeon Masters checklist and you look at each of the boxes on their one-shots, you can tell that there is a box that represents each one of those checklist items, which makes it the perfect example on how to actually run that checklist from Sly Flourishes. And I don't know about you, but I learn most with examples. And you literally have a book of 100 of them. Because of that, this one book has changed the way I physically write down and prep my games. It's all about how to get those reps in without wasting so much time prepping things you don't need. Now, this next book I recommend might be a little confusing, but I promise I'll explain. Number 4, Think Like a Game Designer by Justin Gary. Now, I'll start by saying this book barely talks about TTRPGs. I think it mentions it like 2 or 3 times, maybe. But this book mostly talks about the mechanics of games, all games, board games, card games, TTRPGs, video games, that we as humans naturally find fun. But after reading this book, I became so much more confident with my own homebrewing in my TTRPG games because it made my homebrew more about adding more fun and interactability to the existing mechanics rather than just making them more powerful or trying to establish more balance. It taught me how to make additional mechanics that complemented the existing mechanics of the game system I was playing instead of just replacing it. Honestly, if you've liked any of the homebrew rules, magic items, subclasses I've come up with on this channel, it's probably made with the techniques used in this book. Now, this last book I recommend might be a little controversial, but bear with me. Number 5, the Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master Guide for 2024. Like I said, hear me out. I'm also not the biggest fan of every decision Wizards of the Coast has made, but there is a lot of guidance and advice on how to run your D&D games that the community has said over the years that they wish they had in the original. Things like how to even start to prep a game, how to run a session 0 and set expectations for your game, how to speed or slow down combat. Things that a lot of dungeon masters, if you've been doing it long before 2024, have just had to kind of figure out on your own. And now there's at least some guidelines of somewhere to start. Now, while I do think there's a lot of great advice in the DMG, that really goes for any TTRPG rule book you'll read. If you read any other TTRPG book from cover to cover, you will find advice and guidance on things that transcend that TTRPG and can be applied to any game that you're running. So while I do think the new 2024 DMG has a lot in there, other ones I'd really recommend you check out is the new Daggerheart book, Blades in the Dark, Kids on Bikes, the Alien RPG system, and there's so many more. So if you have another RPG book that someone maybe gifted you, just start reading it. And outside the rules of that particular game, it'll have sections on how to run this type of scenario, how to deal with role-playing with different types of people. All of that comes from the experience of the game masters who made those TTRPGs and are going to be useful for you in your games. Have you read any of these books cover to cover? Are there any other books that you would recommend that have made you better at running your games? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.